Hey everyone, welcome back to the R Stories. I know many of you use these videos to unwind and drift off to sleep, and I'm so glad to be part of a nighttime routine. Before you settle in, I'd love to hear where you're listening from. Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you're enjoying the episodes, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps support the channel. Now relax, get comfortable, and let's begin. Next story. Am I the asshole for secretly recording my professor making sexist remarks and getting him fired? I, 26 male, am in my final year of university, and I had a professor, Dr. R, who always made weird, borderline inappropriate comments. At first, I thought he was just old-fashioned, but over time, I realized he was blatantly sexist. It started subtly. He would call on male students more often and dismiss female students' answers as lucky guesses. But as the semester went on, his comments became worse. He once said in class, "Women just are not as naturally gifted in logic-based subjects." And another time when a girl asked a question, he laughed and said, if female students spent less time worrying about their looks and more time studying, maybe they would get better grades. Whenever we had a difficult topic, he would smirk and say, "This might be a little hard for the girls, but do not worry. Just smile at your lab partners, and they will help you out." Then one day, he completely crossed the line. A girl in my class wore a tank top because it was hot outside. Nothing inappropriate, just normal summer wear. He paused the lecture and said, "Wow, dressing like that for extra credit? Bold strategy." Some people laughed awkwardly, but the girl looked mortified. She barely spoke for the rest of the class. That was when I decided to start recording. Over the next few weeks, I captured multiple instances of him making sexist comments. The worst was when he joked that women should focus on easier fields because STEM was too stressful for them. That one really pissed me off because there were girls in the class working their asses off, and he was acting like they did not belong there. I compiled everything and submitted it anonymously to the university's disciplinary committee. They launched an investigation, and within a month, Dr. was fired. Now, some of my classmates, mostly the guys, are pissed at me. They say I ruined a man's career over a few jokes, and that I should have just ignored him. But a lot of the female students have thanked me, saying they've been uncomfortable in his class for years. So, am I the asshole for recording my professor and getting him fired? Commenter 1. Good for you. That took guts. Those guys complaining are probably the same ones who laughed along with him. When I was in college, I was a business major, and you have to take one class from each of the different disciplines: accounting, management, marketing, and information systems. In the information systems class, the professor, an Indian male gentleman, stated that women never do well in his class and are not capable of specializing in information systems. Game on, motherfucker. I graduated with 5 job offers, started a coding help desk, and took all my classes with other professors. Anytime I was asked about my success in the program, I publicly stated it was because I did not take any of his classes. Those who laughed were enabling his behavior. They likely have not experienced the discrimination that female students face, so they cannot get it. Be careful that they do not later on name an award after him. Fuck you, Dr. Conklin at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. You counted off 5 points for women and 2 points for men in your engineering thermodynamics classes. Commenter 2. He ruined his own career by his own stupidity. Maybe the men who are pissed that you are concerned about their grades, as your professor was probably giving them more leeway than the women. You did the right thing. I'm old enough to be your mom, and I would be incredibly proud of you. Not the asshole. Seriously, this man has a PhD. He is a professor at a college university in 2025. He should know better. I'm not even saying he should not be a sexist bigot. He just should not be so fucking stupid. I had a professor who took a piss in a bottle while a girl was giving a presentation. The lights were off, and he was in the back, but still. People, man. Commenter 3. Not the asshole. I am a woman who majored in biochemistry. I had a professor just like this. It was horrible for the few women in the class. We learned early on that if we had a question, we had to ask one of the guys to ask it. Otherwise, we were just told to read the textbook or that we should have paid attention. Meanwhile, the guys would get a full answer. What you did helped save multiple people's careers. Just think how many people left their major because of this professor. Think about how many people would have changed their major if they were forced into his class. I truly wonder how many women's grade point averages got screwed over by this guy. On behalf of all of us, thank you. You did the right thing. Commenter 4. Not the asshole. He got himself fired. With you submitting anonymously, how did people know it was you? Opie, my best friend, was cursing the person who got him fired in front of me. I told him it was me, and he told this to everyone around. You spelled ex-best friend wrong. The only asses in this story are your best friend for telling everyone and the professor. Commenter 5. Nah, that dude got himself fired. Good riddance 2. Thank you for cleaning out the trash on behalf of humans everywhere. Imagine being so arrogant that you do not know your students have video phones at all times. Lord have mercy. Commenter 6. Oh, fuck him and everyone that is blaming you. He got himself fired. That behavior should not be tolerated in any form. I wonder if the men would feel differently if he spent half the time talking about how much easier men had it. Not because they are smarter, but because people assume they should be in the STEM field. Now, men, you are probably a bunch of morons. This seriously pisses me off. Nobody should be defending that bullshit. Commenter 7. I'm having a really tough time believing this is real. I had a professor make blatant insults against any religion that was not Christ-based. A bunch of us went to the administration with in-class recordings we made, and they said, everyone is allowed an opinion at this university, and if you do not like what your teacher says, you are welcome to drop the class. Which we could not actually do at that point in the semester without getting FS. Plus, if the professor in this story has tenure, then it is really unlikely they were fired this quickly. Next story. Am I the asshole for refusing to help my best friend with her wedding because she didn't make me a bridesmaid? My best friend, 24, female, whom we will call May, and I, 24, female, have been close since middle school. We have talked about being in each other's weddings, so when she got engaged last year, I assumed I would be a bridesmaid. She recently asked me to help with the wedding planning, but when she showed me the list for her bridal party, I was not on it. I asked why, and she got awkward and said she had to make some choices. The party included her sister, her fiancé's sister, and a few newer friends she has known for a couple of years. She wanted a small party. I did not want to make a big deal, though. I congratulated her and figured I would still be a guest. But then she started asking me for a lot of help. Things like dress shopping, do-it-yourself decorations, venue hunting, making party favors, etc. I finally told her, hey, I love you, but I feel weird doing all of this when I'm not even a bridesmaid. She got angry and said that she thought I would still want to be involved because we were best friends. I told her I would still be at the wedding, but I was not going to do all of this extra work when she did not even consider me close enough to be in her bridal party. Now she and some of our mutual friends are giving me the cold shoulder, saying I am being petty and making the wedding about me. But I'm not going to be doing bridesmaid-level work if I am not one. Am I the asshole? Commenter 1. Hey, I love you, but I feel weird doing all of this when I'm not even a bridesmaid. She got angry and said that she thought I'd still want to be involved because we're best friends. Not the asshole. She wants free labor from you. She is trying to enlist your help because her bridesmaids probably have either already said no, even though that is their job, or because she does not want to burden them with the menial tasks she wants to dump on you. That she got angry when you stood up for yourself speaks volumes. Good on you for not letting her use you. Yeah, she is definitely trying to use the original poster. Does not sound like much of a best friend. Original poster, you might think she is your best friend, but she definitely does not think you're her best friend. It is the whole, you're my best friend, I thought you'd want to be part of my wedding. So manipulative. It is just gross. And who exactly does she think should be her maid of honor if the original poster is her best friend? And who has the role of primary helper to the bride? The bride sounds like some sort of social climber who is trying to leverage the positions of honor in her wedding for clout. Yep, she probably shit-talks the original poster to the cool girls she has asked to be bridesmaids. Commenter 2. It is hard to get over the feeling of being replaced by new and fresh friends. But friendships fluctuate. It is very possible that she does not feel you would mesh that well with her new friends. That makes her suck, not you. You have every right to step back from having to do all her bidding. And if anybody says anything to you about it, just remind them that there are several others in her wedding party that should support the bride. When my sister married my brother-in-law, I was excluded from the wedding party. She referred to me as her personal attendant, which was her way of getting me to do all the work but not be included in the wedding itself. I figured at the very least I would be named in the wedding program. Nope, nothing. I did all the running, babysat her kids during the whole ceremony, helped decorate and clean up, and even took her kids while she went on her honeymoon. When the pictures were taken, she created her wedding album from her favorites. I was not in a single one. It was then that I realized we just were not very close. I was very bothered by it, I will admit. But when I got married, I excluded her from my wedding party. Of course, I'm married at City Hall, so it was not that blatant. However, I was conversing with my sister and cousin one time about 10 years ago during my cousin's bridal shower. She asked about my sister's wedding, and I just answered, "Oh no, we're not very close at all." My sister's mouth dropped open. I have only one sister. Yes, we are. I turned and looked at her. No. If life gives me hardships, you would be the last person I would look to for a shoulder. You do not even know who I am. Since then, she has changed. She has worked hard for it, too. We now go on vacations every year, and we call each other regularly. That is such a beautiful resolution. I am so glad she realized it. Did you ever talk about her excluding you from the wedding and her reasoning? It is nice to see a happy resolution / ending to something hurtful like that. I cannot believe she was totally unaware of how she treated you and how you must have felt during her wedding and whatnot. But some people are totally oblivious and have no clue because they only think about themselves all the time. I'm glad your sister saw she was in the wrong and has worked to mend the relationship instead of just getting mad and refusing to admit it like most stories you read here. Commenter 3. Not the asshole. She chose her new friends over you. If the bridal party was strictly family, it would be one thing, but she wants you to do all the work for her without actually being a part of the gown shopping and hair and makeup. That is extremely hurtful and would make me rethink the friendship and even attending the wedding. The fact that they are cold-shouldering her for not doing unpaid labor means she has told others that the original poster is not providing unpaid labor, which is unconscionable. I agree. I will not go either. When the invitation comes, I might write sorry, I won't be there. I plan to be sick that day and send that right back to her. What do you have to lose? A crappy friendship that is not a friendship. It seems pretty clear that the original poster values the maid of honor and the bridesmaids and does not want to risk asking them for anything. But she takes the original poster for granted, thinks the original poster will always be there no matter how badly she treats her, and she could do whatever she wants. Bye-bye. Commenter 4. Not the asshole. She does not consider you close by not making you part of the bridal party and just wants you for free labor. That is not a best friend. I would reconsider your entire relationship with this person and maybe find a new best friend. The whole, "I thought you would help out because we are best friends" thing is just straight up manipulative. If you were her best friend, you would be the maid of honor. Commenter 5. Not the asshole. You're supposed to keep these tasks in mind when you choose your bridesmaids. If she chose people she cannot count on, that is her problem. Those who think you are being petty are free to offer their own assistance. Not the asshole. It is her wedding, and if she wants a small wedding party, she 100% gets to have one. But you are a guest, not a bridesmaid, and that means you are not part of the bridesmaid labor pool. She is so off base here that you may end up losing this friendship, but that might not be such a bad thing. Next story. Am I the asshole for not letting my stepdaughter have my late daughter's room? My daughter, Megan, fake names, passed away 2 years ago at 15. Her room has been left mostly untouched, and I keep it clean. I made a few attempts to clean it out, but I stopped pretty quickly. I just feel guilty. Recently, my wife's daughter, Anna, 16, female, asked if she could move into Megan's room because it is bigger and has better lighting. Anna currently shares a room with her younger sister, and I understand that is not really comfortable. I told Anna no and explained that I am not ready to change Megan's room. Anna was disappointed, but seemed to understand. However, my wife is now pressuring me, saying it is unfair that I am prioritizing a shrine over Anna's comfort. She argues that Megan would not have wanted her room to sit empty when someone else could use it. I get her point, but to me, this is not about playing favorites. I am still grieving, and changing Megan's room feels like erasing her. Anna is not being bratty about it, but my wife keeps bringing it up, calling me selfish and unwilling to move forward. I know it has been 2 years, but I do not feel ready yet. My wife says I'm putting my grief above Anna's needs. Am I the asshole? Commenter 1. There is no timeline for grief, but the living people in your life also need your attention. Please seek the advice of a therapist. They can help you honor your daughter while also loving your living family. This is what I wanted to say. You're going through something awful, but do not ignore the needs of others in your life. Is there another space you can make her room? At her age, she does need her own space too, but definitely seek counseling. What if you had to move? Unfortunately, your decision to keep it as is will not be a long-term solution either. Ugh, so sorry. Grief never really goes away, and losing a child never gets easier, but eventually life does move on. I honestly feel letting her have the room is a step in the right direction for you. 2 things can exist at once. You can keep the memory of your child alive while still creating space for your living family. I truly wish you all the best. It reminded me of a movie, The Lovely Bones. What a tragic story. Commenter 2. I get it. I cannot even imagine getting out of bed if I lost one of my children, let alone dealing with this. So you have my complete and utter sympathy. At the same time, grief is a process, and it seems you are not contending with it, and it is having an effect on your family. A family member of my wife lost a son to cancer, and understandably, it devastated her. She went through a deep depression and had entire days when she could not do anything. Finally, one morning, her 6-year-old daughter came into the room with a hairbrush and said, "I do not have cancer, and I need help." From the mouths of children come big truths sometimes. It was the spur she needed to move forward. It is important to recognize the effect your grief is having on others and perhaps find better ways to honor her memory, ways that allow you to grieve without laying the burden of your grief on the shoulders of others. You have not mentioned grief counseling. If you have not taken that step, I think it would be a very good thing if you did. And in the meantime, have honest conversations with your wife, doing as much listening as talking. Finally, one morning, her 6-year-old daughter came into the room with a hairbrush and said, "I do not have cancer, and I need help." Damn, that one hit hard. Yeah, it is my wife's aunt's story. Her daughter is now 40 and still has latent issues with it. It really hits. Last year, I did movement desensitization and reprocessing, EMDR, and learned how to process childhood trauma in a way that takes the sting out of it. Like, I can run a session myself to process trauma. And when I learned, one of the sessions I processed was when I was 6. I was bitten by a bug. I asked my parent for help. They yelled at me for waking them up. Lesson learned, do not ask. Retrospectively, I had nonverbal children who literally cannot ask for help. And I spent years in speech and occupational therapy with them, developing their skills to be able to ask for help and let others know their needs. Karma is kind of crazy sometimes. Commenter 3. When dealing with loss, no one is ever the asshole, especially not for not being ready to change her room, but a 16-year-old girl should have her own room and a right to privacy. Is there any other room that could be changed into a bedroom? Her comfort needs to be considered here. She is still here, and you're also her parent. For your own sake, I would recommend some therapy to help you navigate your grief. I would hate for you to lose your living family because you are unable to move past your grief. Should be the top comment right here. Maybe a renovated basement/attic, or an office that can be moved to one of the aforementioned places. Also, as someone else mentioned, her room is not her, and although none of us can speak for your daughter and her wishes for her room, when you are ready, you can always keep some of her stuff and trinkets around the house and in your car or office. Her presence does not disappear with a bedroom, but it also does not mean you need to pack away all of her things out of sight. Anna is amazing for not openly expressing any discomfort to ensure he is not feeling bad, but I have zero doubts she actually wants her own space. I would not be surprised if Anna is actually the one expressing discomfort to her mom, which is why the mom is fighting so hard. There are a lot of people saying Anna is not suffering and her basic needs are met, but in my opinion, privacy after puberty age is a basic need. Even just temporarily renovating a room that is not used much until he has dealt with his grief enough to be ready to give Anna the room will be immensely beneficial to her. Commenter 4. Not the asshole. But I do think that it might be worth having a conversation or two with a therapist about ways to help you be able to move on. I know that the room is comforting because it reminds you of Megan, but there might be a better way to memorialize her. As for your wife pressuring you, I would love to have her in a few sessions as well, because she is not helping at the moment. I am so sorry for your loss, and I am sending all the love your way. I would even consider co-therapy. I cannot imagine how hard it is to lose a child, and I sympathize with the original poster, but I think the best solution would be to work through it with a specialist. As for the wife, her pressuring is totally wrong and will definitely not fix the situation, so they should both understand each other and work it out together. Commenter 5. I think you need to work through the guilt. Your daughter's memory and legacy are not tied to a space like her room. That is just geography. I do not think you're an asshole, but your wife is not either. She wants the family to be as happy as it can be in its current state, and that does not mean it is the ideal state, which would obviously include your daughter. I think asking her for a specific amount of time and working with a professional to get okay with changing the room and living a full life without guilt would help. No assholes here. Next story. Am I the asshole for refusing to pay my neighbor's vet bill after her unleashed dog got hit by a car? So, my neighbor Lisa is one of those people who thinks rules do not apply to her. A few months ago, she got a husky and from day one, never kept it on a leash. This dog was constantly running loose, digging up gardens, jumping on people, chasing cars, and every time someone told her to control it, she would laugh and say, "Oh, he just loves his freedom." Well, that freedom finally caught up with her. One afternoon, I was walking my dog, on a leash like a responsible owner, when Lisa's husky came barreling toward us. No hesitation, no stopping, just full speed, straight at my dog. My beagle is tiny compared to this thing, so of course he got scared and started barking. Before I could react, the husky lunged at him. It was full-on aggression, snarling, teeth out, trying to pin my dog down. My poor dog was yelping and trying to escape. I was doing everything I could to pull him away when suddenly Lisa's husky turned and bolted straight into the road. And just like that, bam, a car hit him. The driver had no chance to stop. Lisa's dog was running loose, unsupervised, and straight into traffic. Lisa came running out of her house, screaming at me, not worried about the driver, not even acknowledging that she let her dog run wild, just screaming, "This is your fault. Your dog made him run." Excuse me? My fault? Her dog was the one attacking mine. Her dog was the one off leash. Her dog was the one who ran into the street. I had zero control over what happened. She rushed her husky to the vet, and a few days later, she showed up at my door with a $5,000 bill, surgery, medication, everything. And then she actually said, "You need to pay for this since your dog caused it." Yeah, not happening. Look, I feel awful for her dog. I'm really glad she's going to be okay. No animal deserves to go through that, and honestly, I would not wish it on anyone. But at the end of the day, we all have bills to pay, and she's acting like I just have thousands of dollars lying around to clean up her mistake. I try to be understanding, but she is putting everything on me like she had nothing to do with it. And now I hear she has been bad-mouthing me for not helping. I do not know. Am I really in the wrong here? Commenter 1. Not the asshole, but you need to file a police report. Her dog attacked yours, so you can get your vet bills paid by her because, surprise, she was a neglectful owner. Many places have leash and confinement laws, so she is technically breaking the law, depending on the state. Lastly, you need to file a report with animal control. She is literally endangering the dog. It is better to have the dog removed from her care and placed in a safe home than to have her continue having one. I totally agree, especially so they have documentation should Lisa actually try to sue her for the medical bill payment. She sounds like the sort of irresponsible person who could try to do this. Also, for the sake of the dog who is at risk with her, ask neighbors if they happen to have security camera videos of the incident and any previous incidents to show a pattern of stupidity. Commenter 2. There may be a lawyer and a restraining order in your future. She is crazy. I second this, especially the restraining order. Commenter 3. Not the asshole. This woman sucks. I love dogs, but entitled dog owners are really the worst. I had an unleashed dog jump on me while I was on a run in a park, not a dog park, the other day, and the owner just waved it away like it was not a big deal. So frustrating. Commenter 4. I believed it all until and now she is telling the whole neighborhood I am cold-hearted for not helping bit, which is pure regurgitated cut-in paste, karma farming stuff. Commenter 5. Definitely not the asshole. Tell her you're going to be pressing harassment and defamation charges against her if she keeps up with her bullshit, and reporting her to animal control for endangering that dog by letting it run loose, unsupervised, almost leading to its death.